It definitely gets your attention. And the article itself is just as thought-provoking. We're going to tackle the history of immigration in America, the economic impacts, the cultural shifts, and even those really personal human stories that often get lost in the political debates.
Yeah, I think taking a look at the human side of this issue is essential.
Couldn't agree more. So let's start with a bit of history. The article points out something really interesting, and that's how America, from its very founding, has been shaped by waves of immigrants.
It's true. Think about it. The very idea of America as a melting pot is rooted in the fact that people from all over the world have come here seeking a new life.
Exactly. And not all of that migration was voluntary, of course. The article doesn't shy away from that darker side of our history, the forced migration of Africans through slavery.
Right, right. And that historical context is crucial to understanding the complexities of immigration today. I mean, why is it that despite our history, the idea of welcoming immigrants is so debated now?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the article digs into some of the reasons. There's a lot to consider, like economic anxieties, evolving demographics, and even, the way certain political groups frame the issue.
It's like everything's kind of intertwined.
Totally. And speaking of economics, the article makes a strong case for the economic contributions of immigrants.
Well, yeah. I mean, immigrants often fill those essential jobs, the ones a lot of American-born workers aren't exactly lining up for.
It's true. We're talking about agriculture, construction,
Yeah.
those tough jobs that keep our country running. The article even mentioned that over 25% of America's agricultural workforce is made up of immigrants.
Wow, that's a significant number.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just about filling those essential jobs. Immigrants are also starting businesses, creating new industries. The article highlighted Elon Musk as an example.
Oh, yeah. Musk's a great example. He immigrated to the U.S. and revolutionized the tech and auto industries. Talk about making an impact.
Right. And that brings us to the idea of cultural capital, something the article talks about quite a bit. It's essentially the idea that the more diverse a society is, the more ideas and perspectives it has to draw from.
Makes sense. It's like imagine a world where everyone had the same ideas, the same experiences. You'd never have that spark of creativity. Those breakthroughs happen when you bring different minds together.
Exactly. And think about the food, the music, the art, all enriched by the contributions of immigrants throughout our history. My own city is so much more vibrant and interesting because of its diverse population.
I hear you. It's like adding different spices to a dish. That variety is what makes it delicious.
Perfect analogy. But of course, the article doesn't just present a rosy picture of immigration. It tackles those concerns head on. The things people worry about, like job competition, strain on public resources.
Yeah, those concerns are definitely real. I mean, change can be scary for folks.
Absolutely. And the article acknowledges those concerns, but also pushes back against some common assumptions. For example, it cites studies showing that immigrants are actually less likely to commit crimes than native-born Americans.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception that really needs to be addressed.
Totally. And when it comes to resources, the article points out that it's not as simple as some people make it out to be. Immigrants also contribute to the economy, pay taxes, and create jobs.
Yeah, they're not just taking, they're giving back too.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the elephant in the room, the border wall. It's arguably the most visible and debated aspect of immigration policy today.
No doubt about it. And this article lays out the arguments on both sides. On the one hand, you have those who see it as a necessary measure for border security. On the other hand, you've got folks who see it as a symbol of exclusion and hostility.
Right. It's hard not to get caught up in the politics of it all, especially when you see how differently Republicans and Democrats tend to approach immigration.
Well, yeah. I mean, historically, different administrations have had very different policies when it comes to immigration. It's been a constant back and forth.
Definitely. But in the midst of all that political back and forth, it's easy to lose sight of something really important,
Yeah.
the human element. And this article, it does a great job of bringing those personal stories to the forefront.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we're talking about families being separated, children being detained. It's heartbreaking. These are real people whose lives are being turned upside down.
Exactly. And the article really drives home the point that these aren't just abstract policy debates. These are decisions that have real-life consequences for individuals and families.
It makes you think about the human cost of these policies, doesn't it?
It really does. So where does all this leave us? Well, one thing's for sure. Immigration is a complex issue with a long history, and it's going to continue to be a major topic of discussion and debate for years to come.
Yeah, it's not going away anytime soon.
No.
And it's important to remember that there's no easy answer, no simple solution. It's about finding a way to balance, the need for security and the need to be a welcoming nation.
And that brings us to a pretty big question. Can the U.S. maintain its identity as a land of opportunity while also addressing those concerns about security and resources? Is that balance even achievable?
That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves, I think.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought, and we encourage you to keep exploring this topic, read different perspectives, and form your own informed opinions.
Yeah, do your own research. Don't just take our word for it. There's so much to learn and so many voices to listen to.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.